Hey everybody, for those of you who don't know, I'm Jer. So it's been a little bit since I've been on. I was for a while there posting videos every couple of days, but then craziness happened and I got invited to come and stay with a friend here in Orlando and had that going on. Then everything happened with George Floyd being killed by police officers, by cops. And it just hit really hard, really hard. And I took some time to just gather my thoughts and my feelings and what I wanted to be able to say whenever I came back. Whenever this happens, and it happens far too frequently, every time that it happens and there's videos or stories about what has happened, I see it, I read it, and I think of people that I love in my life, black people that I love in my life, people of color that I love in my life, and I think this could have just as easily happened to one of them. If you know me, you know that probably 80% of the people that I love in my life are black and people of color. And so, and they're family to me. They are truly family to me. I see them as family. And I think right now with everything that's going on, a lot of people think that the fixing of this problem, we have a problem, first off. There is no doubt, it is not debatable, there's not anybody who can say that we do not have a problem with race in this country and around the world. You cannot say that anymore. There is without a doubt a problem, a racist problem. Not just with police, but with the whole system, with the whole government system. And not just with the whole government system, but within businesses, within everything, we can see a problem with race, with racist, and how the whole system was built. And as it was built with racist ideas and racist embedded in it. Like, you can't look at media and not see how it is formed to be racist. For instance, and maybe this has gotten better, I don't know that it has, because maybe I see it differently now because of how I grew up and what I have embraced in my own life since growing up. But growing up, the only time that I ever saw or experienced black people in my life was on TV or in the news. And TV and news always, 90% of the time, made black people look like criminals or thugs. And whenever that's your only experience with black people or people of color even, that's what you get in your mind, and your brain is convinced that this is what that part of society is. I grew up, so I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana. there are black people in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Before I was 2, whenever I was 2, we moved to Arkansas and then eventually Oklahoma. Where we lived in Arkansas and Oklahoma, there were no black people up until whenever I was in high school, and then there was rumor of a black family that had moved in. I never saw them, and they moved into, I believe, an area which was across the state line, which I lived right on the state line. Across the state line from Oklahoma into Arkansas, they moved into a town called Siloam Springs. And when that happened, the KKK, which is still an organization, and they are not considered a terrorist organization whatsoever, but should be. They should be marked as a terrorist organization. And I don't understand how they are not. But the KKK threw a fit and ended up having a KKK rally in the year 2000. You can Google this. In the year 2000, to protest this black family moving into town. That's wild to me. The year 2000, just 20 years ago. And the KKK still exists. For anybody who doesn't believe it, the KKK still exists. And they aren't labeled a terrorist organization. So whenever that's all you've ever seen is black people are bad, people of color are bad, the white person is this holy grail of human being, the white Christian male, straight male, is the goal, is what everybody should be. And if you're not that, then you're subhuman. And for each thing that you're not that, you're even further down subhuman. So, white, Christian, straight, male, up here. White, Christian, straight, female, woman, here. White, Christian, gay, male, here. And it just continues until eventually you get to people of color, and a black, trans, non-Christian person is down here at the bottom. And so whenever we say Black Lives Matter, it isn't saying that every ring on that ladder doesn't matter, that every person doesn't matter. It's us trying to pull people up from this bottom where they have been oppressed, pull people up to make sure that everybody along the way, including them, understands that they matter. And so whenever you're saying in rebuttal against Black Lives Matter, all lives matter, you're saying, you're taking away from this, from our efforts to try to pull up people who have been oppressed for so very long. So, my piece in this, one of my pieces in this, probably my main piece in all of this, if you love me, if you listen to me, if you are inspired to change by the things that I do or I say, above anything else, be inspired by this. If you love people, love all people. Love all people. Not all lives matter, not defeating Black Lives Matter because we've been taught that we got to defeat this because they're going to take over. No. We need everybody to be on a level playing field. Not just white, straight, Christian men at the top and and then everybody else down below. All of us together. And what that takes is relearning. Learning new. Replacing what we have learned from our experiences growing up. Of believing that because someone is a person of color, because someone is black, or because you've had bad experiences with black people or people of color, that they're bad. All of them are bad. You know what? If I took experiences that I've had, bad experiences that I've had with white people, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take all these experiences, I'm going to hold it against all white people, I would not have any white friends whatsoever. None. None, none, none. And you know what? If black people and people of color decided to take all their bad experiences with white people, let me tell you, if they decided to take all their bad experiences with white people, they would not want anything to do whatsoever with white people. Instead, most black people and people of color are right now trying to help white people understand a system that white people helped build, a racist system, so that we can fix it for future generations. And let me tell you, that takes heart. That takes so much heart to not only say, this system is really bad, but now we're going to try to help you understand what your ancestors did. A system that is actually pretty easy to understand if you look at it. And most people will disregard it and act like it isn't racist and, oh, well, there isn't really a problem. That's on you. There is a problem. It is up to us to fix that. And the biggest part of that I'm going to play, the biggest part that I'm going to take part in is helping you understand that this begins all the change. If you are seeing this and if you are saying Black Lives Matter, don't just say it. Live it. And it starts with you. It starts with each of us. Because if you're not living a life that is making sure that black people and people of color know that they matter, then your words don't matter. If you are living a life that has no friends that are black, you are part of the problem. You should be reaching out and trying to make connections with people that are different than you. Live outside your comfort zone, and that's where you will grow. It isn't just going to help them. It's going to help you grow. And people will always ask, what's in it for me? Whip them. What's in it for me? And they teach that in business. What's in it for me? What's in it for you is that you will grow in that. You will have more people to love, and you will have more people loving you. And if you can't do that, you are missing out. And you are missing the point. Because this change begins with us. You can say, oh, I can't play a big part in the full system change. The hell you can't. Because you can. And you should. Because the more that this spreads between individuals, the easier we start to see changes within work environments, within social environments. Because then you know that this affects people that you love. And whenever it's affecting people you love, this becomes more important. This whole thing becomes a part of you because it affects you, because people you love are affected. People I love are affected in this. And so it means a hell of a lot more to me. And whenever people that you love are affected by this, It will mean a hell of a lot more to you. And you'll work your ass off a hell of a lot more to understand what's going wrong in this country. What's going wrong in the world. Because until this means something to you, it won't mean something to you and you won't work to change it. You won't work to understand where the problem is and you won't work to fix it, to do your part to fix it. I promise you, you won't. You'll just say Black Lives Matter and you'll post a black square on Instagram and just leave it be. And you'll think that that makes a difference. That doesn't make a difference until you make a change in your own life. Until you work to connect with others. Until you love black people and other people of color. It won't make a difference. Until you see that on TV, till you see someone being killed on TV, and you realize that this system is working against people you love, then it will matter. But until then, it won't matter to you. You will give lip service of, oh, Black Lives Matter, and then you'll go back to life as normal. We cannot, as white people, as people of color, go back to believing that black people don't matter. And just saying Black Lives Matter whenever someone else dies. No. The change begins with us as individuals. It is our responsibility to change the frustrating racist system that our ancestors built and have continued to use to oppress black lives and people of color. It is our responsibility as individuals to make the changes in our own personal lives, to reach out and make connections, to reach out and to make black people loved ones. Because until we do that, it doesn't matter to us. It won't make a difference to you. You'll say Black Lives Matter on a social network and think that's social justice. It is not. And it doesn't just stop with police reform. The whole system is racist. It oppresses people of color and black people. It oppresses them and holds them down. The education system is oppressing. The whole system is oppressing. From our work lives to our social lives, to policing, to education. If you love people, love people. Make an effort to connect with people. Until you do, until you connect with and open up to loving black people and people of color, people that are different than who you are, none of this will matter to you. You will continue to live your fairy tale life, and then whenever something bad happens, you'll say Black Lives Matter and think that makes a difference. That doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. It's barely a first step. Because whenever you reach out and you connect with people that are different than you, then and only then will this affect you, because loved ones are being hurt, because loved ones are being oppressed. So my challenge to you is, if you love people, love all people. Work to make those connections. And then once you have loved ones that are black or people of color that you love, and those people are being oppressed and hurt, this stuff will matter to you, and you will work 100 times harder to get it fixed. Not just in government, but in your workspaces, in your social life. You will work to bring people up instead of unknowingly oppressing people. This matters. It matters that you reach out and connect to others and bring people into love that are different than yourself, that you step out of your own comfort zone and you start to love people who are different than you. It has to happen. That is where true change is going to begin. True change is going to start with each of us individually. And once that change comes into play, then we start to work to make changes in our business life, in the things that we buy, in the media that we consume. In every part of our life, we start to make small changes, and we make the future better for people, all people. All people. America in this world shouldn't just be great for some. Whenever I hear "Make America Great Again," it implies that America was ever great for everybody, and it wasn't. It wasn't. But we need to make America great for everyone for the first time. And that begins with us. That begins with me. That begins with you. And it begins with making connections, loving people, reaching your hand out and saying, hey, I want to know, I want to learn about you. Not in a racist way. Don't reach out to try to have your little black person accessory. That's not how this works. Really reach out and try to love one another. Try to love people that are different than you. It takes stepping out of your comfort zone, but I believe in you. I believe that you can do that. I did that. I had to put in effort to do that. Once I joined the military and I left Oklahoma, I worked side by side in the Air Force with black people and other people of color. And I learned that there's not a whole lot that's different, except for they're oppressed and they have to work 100 times harder to get where I am and what the privilege I have is. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable at all. But it's true. I'm going to tell you right now, you should go and watch 13th on Netflix, which is also on YouTube. And it shows how we have kept black people enslaved. And it is factual. And it's not just, some kind of propaganda. It's factual, and it shows what we have done to keep black people enslaved in this country, and it's despicable. But I highly encourage, as a first step, watch that and then work to find black people and people of color to bring in and love. People that are different than you, bring in and love and understand. And really try, because unless we're all trying, saying Black Lives Matter does nothing. It does nothing. Posting a black square on your Instagram does nothing. My goal would be to, where we have seen on Instagram or wherever, just groups of white people, we gradually start to see more black people and people of color in those, because we befriend more people and we make sure that others know that their lives matter. And we not only just use our mouth to do lip service, but that it's in our actions and that it's in the way we show love. It's in everything we do. We watch media that doesn't just oppress black people or people of color, but that lifts everyone up. That, like I said, in our business life, at work or whatever, that we start to look out for things that are oppressing others and erase that and try to remove that from how we do business and make it fair for everybody. This is a much longer video than what I expected. But loved ones of mine are affected, and I take that very seriously. It's important that we change as individuals. That's the start. And then we start to work on fixing this whole system. It'll take time, but I believe we can do that. I honestly 100% believe we can do that together. So yeah. Take it out and watch that 13th on Netflix and YouTube, and try to educate yourself as best as you can. And yeah, I want to see good things. I believe that we can and will see good things. This can't continue like this. It can't. It's affecting loved ones in my life and loved ones of many others, and the lives of people personally. That's not acceptable. Okay, that's all I have. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I love you all, and I will talk to you soon.